Safe in Merrick's arms, Chapter 8, Stony Gut. Summer sat on the edge of the fish pond and watched the koi slowly moving within their enclosure. Their flowing tails and dappled scaling patterns was calming. Merrick had called her father and told him that they were safe, but would be hiding for the next 5 days, but would not be revealing their location. One of the first things that he did was to park the SUV in the warehouse, cover it with tarpaulin, and place upright plyboard in front of that. On their arrival, Merrick had shown her to a darkened room with curtains drawn over the windows as her quarters for the stay. Then the sound of a woman's voice came to them from a distance, and then it was nearer. And in the colonnade, a woman who looked like a Doberman Alpha came through, followed closely by 3 mixed-breed dogs. She was thin and muscular, like Merrick, with an alert and intelligent posture. Merrick introduced her as his sister who had raised him. He called her Sis. She lived by herself on her farm and gave guard dogs obedience training. Merrick kissed her on her cheek, and she accepted his introduction of Summer as a client. The idleness and indolence of their stays at Barracuda Village and then Oracabessa Hotel changed into a rhythm of back-breaking hard work. Merrick fell into helping Sis, and Summer made herself useful inside of the house, only going outside after dark. The routine of the farm operation started at dawn when staff arrived to begin the care, training, and showing of love to the dogs. Summer learned that there was an outpost beyond the hills, which was the operations for the livestock and crop farming. 3 of the older dogs lived in the house as members of the family and were mentors for the rest of the pack. At times, a veterinarian or security company client would come by, but never inside the house. At those times, Merrick and Summer remained on scene. At night, Sis and Summer rolled armchairs from the sitting room to the atrium, where it was cooler, and listened to music played by Merrick in the music room. He selected from a collection of CDs and vinyl using the old stereo setup. Neither him nor Sis could play the piano or any of the other instruments there. On the first night, Summer opened the piano and played from memory one of Mozart's most famous hits, A Little Night Music. Between her half-remembered delivery and the piano which needed tuning, she laughed and stopped. "Okay, enough of that," she said. Merrick said, "You set the theme for the night." And then the melodic rhythm and bass of Bob Marley's Give Jah Thanks and Praises blended into his grandson Y.G. Marley's Praise Jah in the Moonlight. Merrick followed with other songs of spirituality as All Night Till Daylight by Jacob Miller and Guiding Star by Leroy Sibbles. But then the mood gradually shifted to a party atmosphere of I Feel Good by Beres Hammond, Alton Ellis' Girl, I've Got a Date, Elaine's Light Us Up, and he slowed it a bit with Set the Night to Music by Maxi Priest and Roberta Flack. When the driving drums and moans, I think I'm going to call in sick, of Beres Hammond's crooning started No Disturb sign, then the synthesizer eased in the prelude Woman Tend to the Sick by Gregory Isaacs' Night Nurse. The mood had shifted deep into romance, and Summer was enjoying it all. At the insistence of Sis, they had indulged themselves with a glass of rum, as she said that nobody was around anymore to enjoy their father's Aneo collection. The following day, Summer gently asked Merrick about his father, and one evening he took her on a short walk from the house to the family burial plot and pointed out his father's grave. And the grave beside him is Sis's mother, his wife, who died. Then he met my mother, and that became a problem, as Sis and my mother are about the same age. When I was 3, my mother left. I was lucky that despite what the adults were going through, they always looked out for me. My father, Sis, then at school, and my stepfather. Love can find its way in any situation, you know. Another day, he showed her around the complex and gave a bit of its history. This is the Stone estate. Oh, so you are Merrick Stone, she interjected. I am Merrick Smith, he laughed. My great-grandmother was a Stone who married a Smith, and she was the only one in her generation who stayed in Jamaica. Everyone else migrated, so she held on to the property. A lot of changes happened over the generations. During my great-grandparents' time, Stone Estate was a stone quarry and grew sugarcane. During my grandparents' time, they went into pimento and raised cows for milk. My father added poultry and eventually raised cattle for beef only. Sis has kept all of that and added her canine business. The original half wooden, half concrete house was on the hills and taken in 1988 by Hurricane Gilbert. And my father built this house in the quarry and called it Stony Gut. Stony Gut. A nice play on words, Summa said. Stony Gut was a collection of 3 connected buildings with concrete roofs that were placed on the level land of the former quarry beside a white limestone cliff. One building was a workshop stroke business office. The second was a kennel complex, which housed as many as 25 dogs and puppies. And the third was a family house with rooms built around a courtyard, of which the atrium with fish pond was the centerpiece. The pond was refreshed by the spring in the quarry. Around the courtyard were the kitchen with a pantry, laundry, a music room, a study, living dining room and 4 bedrooms and the bathrooms. Sis kept the front door of the house locked, so the only way into the house was through the workshop or the kennels. Summer's contribution to the daily activities was to take up cooking for herself, Merrick, and Sis, and she earnestly tried to make sure that Merrick enjoyed her food. It thrilled her to see him eat what she prepared, and he in turn told her that he enjoyed it, or if not so much, told her thanks. Sis also appreciated the help and the meals. As she moved around the house, she tried to find telltale signs of Merrick's life before. There were not many framed family pictures on display. Summer's room had a framed photo of Sis in a high school graduation gown, so she suspected that would have been her bedroom some time ago. She then learned that most of the CD collection in the music room was Merrick's, and the vinyl came from an earlier generation. The days at Stony Gut, moving around the house, sharing personal stories, working hard, eating and listening to music were enjoyable for Summer and Merrick. He relished being in his family home, and she enjoyed his company. On the last night, after a dinner of hearty beef and vegetable soup made entirely from ingredients that were produced on the farm, Summer, Sis, and the family dogs were lounging cozily in the music room with Merrick as it was raining. The downpour streaming through the moonlight into the atrium, splashing playfully on the surface of the fish pond, created an enchanting atmosphere. Summer was on a couch with her legs curled up under her. Sis had taken out cordial glasses that had perhaps not been used in more than a decade and placed them and a pimento dram on a low table for them to enjoy. It's our last night, Summer, Merrick said softly. You choose the musical theme. She had not expected to be put on the spot, but relished the moment. She held the delicate stem of the glass and breathed in the earthy, warm aroma of pimento. Her doctor would not be happy that she had been having a drink every night this week. Love and hope, she said. I am very scared about what I will face in court tomorrow and beyond tonight. But what you have done for me over the past few weeks has given me life. The unmistakable voice of the singer Davil filled the space between them. You put a smile upon my face. You make me feel so strong and brave. I can do anything when I'm with you. Summer did not know if it was the music or the dram or the company, but she lifted her glass with one hand and with the other signaled a gun salute.